Hey guys, SmartNinja000 here, and today we have a really cool concept I've created. It's been done before, but you can see we have our pigman, except he's not a normal pigman. As you can see, he is a pigman boss, so if I hit him, he will take damage. Now ignore how it's slightly moving up, there's nothing I can do about that. I can even do more damage with my sword, of course. And even if you get criticals, you can see exactly how much health he has. Of course, pigments regenerate by damage potions, I believe. So if I just believe it's this, you can see I can heal him up even, and of course kill him, in which case the bar will go away. Now this has been done before, of course, but what I'm doing is a very different method. If I were just to summon, now I believe most people use ender dragons, but if I summon an ender dragon, you can see, oh, that's really loud, let's kill him. There's no boss bar. And the reason for this is the boss bar is actually put in place with the ender dragon fight. So the only way to get boss bars is withers, which is exactly what I am doing. Now we only have two commands always running. We have one which kills the wither skulls, and the other one which is giving the wither the health of Eddie with the tag boss. Now before we actually go into further depth of the command, let's go into the entities we're summoning. We have a wither with an AI. You have to make sure it has an AI, and the reason for that is otherwise its boss bar won't update. We have it silent, although this is a bit of an issue, which I'll go into, and we give it an attributes. We make sure it has 20 health, so the exact same amount of health as our boss, and we also have this tag, health, which is actually how much health it has currently, and we give it a custom name. Now we are in the most recent snapshot, so we have to do it this way because JSON. So that is our first entity. Our second entity is our pigman over here, which just has the tag boss. We make it so it never despawns, and we give it 20 health. Now you have to make sure they have the exact same health, otherwise it's going to get very finicky. Now we're killing wither skulls, so that's a pretty easy command. But what is happening here is we are storing. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking the health from this data get command. We are getting the health, which is this, you can see, of the boss, multiplying it by 10, and then we are storing that value into the wither health and multiplying it by 0.1. It's a float, in case you're wondering what that is. It's a float type. So that is pretty much it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the wither does make some noise every time it shoots the wither skulls. There's nothing you can really do about this, and also since it is it doesn't have no AI, there's a few things you can do to prevent it from escaping. You can do what I did and put it in a bedrock. You can also put it on top of an invisible armor stand with no gravity, so that way it's just floating, but that one's a little bit not as great. You also want to do two walls just in case too thick, just in case, because sometimes it can get out. And now you'll notice there is some flickering with it, but there's nothing you can do about that. The wither slowly does regenerate health. Of course, the higher the amount of health your mob has, the less you will see. So, and also you can actually summon the entity without the pigman, which is really nice. That's just the way the command ends up working. But you can see I've moved it up to 50, and if I just damage it a bit, the regen is less noticeable. Of course, if you go up to 100, it won't even be noticeable. Now, don't actually worry. You can see it just flickers back. Now, it is pretty loud, so, but there we go. Let's turn down the volume. You can see it works pretty nicely. Now, another thing to note is the thing you really have to worry about is making sure they have the same max health. So if I come over here, you can see that's the highest it can actually get. So this like max health attribute, make sure that is the same. And also, because if I were to just change this to 1000, oh, if I were to change this to 1000, the health on the wither doesn't matter too much as it changes. Remember, you have to summon this first, then that. Although that shouldn't be too difficult. The chain command blocks activate in order, but you can see it is at full health, but it is going out of 1000. So every time I damage this, you'll notice it goes down just the slightest bit. But so make sure they are the same, otherwise it won't be perfect. And also make sure the pigman doesn't have more max health than the wither, because there we go. Now it's, you can see it has a 5 max health, and of course you can punch it. Punching it is probably the most effective way of showing off the health. And remember, if you want to get rid of that flickering, just bump up the boss health, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, as bosses are supposed to be difficult. If it has more than, I think, 50 or more, I think you're not too bad. Now, the wither has 300 and the ender dragon is 200. Now that actually corresponds to 100 hearts and 150 hearts for the wither. 100 for the ender dragon, 50 is 25 hearts, which is 2.5 times your player. Now, of course, it does work with other things. You could even do it off of the player. Now, this is actually very interesting, the player. I think it just looks kind of funny. At least it should work off the player. I have not tested this, so this is some live command block magic. Now, if I just go into survival, and if I take damage, you can see that's pretty cool. It does go down with the player, so you can make players have, of course, that's not too surprising that that works. And now, of course, it is going to have that regen effect, but there's, again, nothing you can really do. You can try to do some stuff, but it's pretty funny. It doesn't really work too well. Because when it's in this mode, you can always try and remove the wither effect. So, effect, clear, eddy, type equal wither. Although when I was testing this earlier, yeah, it's, oh, you still get that because it's not technically an act, it's an effect. Which is a bit of a shame, but there's nothing you can really do about it. And of course, when I die, the wither will die as well. Now, if you wanted to respawn, you would just have to do it. So test if, like, I guess just give every player a score. And what's nice is, I believe in the most recent snapshot, if you have 2 withers, so let me just give them NoAI so they don't start blowing everything up. You will actually have 2 wither health bars and such, which is just really nice because it just adds a bit. I'm actually going to turn this command off, but you can see it's pretty cool, the concept with it. Now this actually, it's at less than half health. I believe it's at 20 right now, since that was running and it probably chose that one to give the effect to, but you'll notice that NoAI doesn't actually get that, so you do have to give it an AI, which is a shame. And if you ever need to kill a wither, it's kill at type equal wither. Now they do drop their nether stars, which is another thing to be cautious about. But it's definitely a really cool thing you can do. You can also put them all in the same little cube. But be careful, you might want to move this cube really far underground if you're doing this in a map, just because the wither can play sound, but it's still really, it's nice. Probably the best part about this, if you're curious what I think, is the fact that it only requires one command block and it works for all entities. It's just a really nice little simple method. If you're wondering, the command will be in the description. All 3 command blocks should be in the description. If you want to try this out with your pigment, and of course you can change this. I'm going to leave it as the player, but as just, well, actually just 2, because with the and player, I'm going to leave it as the player just so you can try that out. But it's just a really nice simple little command block contraption you can add into your maps, your boss fights and whatnot, to make it feel more like real. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. If you did not see the video I did about the newest snapshot, 18W01A, the first snapshot of 2018, then you can click the little icon. There should be a video on the screen you should be able to click. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because you can see lots of cool stuff, and leave any comments of things you would like to see me try and make with command blocks, anything you think would be cool, just little concepts like this. They're just nice in general, and yeah. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you didn't see the snapshot video already, you can click that on the screen right now. That's it. Thanks for watching, and bye.